Guys, I'm back again with yet another video. So we're just doing a market breakdown of all these instruments that are on my right. So now you may notice that I don't have the usual or the ones that I mostly do, but they were just not clear for me. So I just thought, let me just take those that will be clear for all of us, so that I can give you something that you guys can work with. And also, please guys, don't mind the noise. Something is being done here at home. So they're just people working, construction people and stuff. So, but back to the business, guys. This is what I'll be going over. So I will start in that in that form, like NZDJPY and minimum get to the last one, right? So I'm just gonna start on the 4-hour time frame on NASDAQ particularly, but it will also just depend on which currency pair am I at and also the market conditions, you know what I mean? So without any further time, let's get to the first one. So like I said that, yeah, I'm just not gonna go over it like from the daily time frame, and because it's not necessary given the market condition, right? So on NASDAQ, right, I have that high over there. And then we have this corrective structure. I don't know if you would remember it from past analysis, right? So we had that trend line at the top here, and then we also have these two touches at the bottom. But as you can see, it's not that much clear here. So we will just go to the 1-hour time frame because everything is going to be clear there, right? And then as you can also see that we have a correction inside a correction, right? So what we can do now, we're just going to zoom in so that you can see clearly what's going on in there, and then it's going to be clear on the 1-hour time frame. But by looks of things, we're looking for an upward momentum on NASDAQ, okay, based off the fact that it is supporting trend line. And then we also might just be going to touch the top for one last time before we can actually get the sales, because that's our 4-hour high, right? Which we might get to before we get to before we can actually go to the downside, which will also mean that there will be some sort of a head and shoulder type formation, you know what I mean? So yeah. And then going to the what? Guys, let's continue, right? I was just being disturbed by the noise. So as you can see, we're in this ascending channel, right? So if you can see, in the past we had this nice correction, okay, which is impulse move correction, and then it broke out impulsively, then got the retest market, went to the downside, rejected off of that level. So by looks of things, if the market is repeating the same thing, then we might be seeing NASDAQ going to the upside yet again. But these trend lines don't really make a lot of sense to me. But let's drop it to the 50-minute because I want to see something. So we can have it like that, and then like this as well. But I see a possibility here of an inverse head and shoulder, which is in this type of manner, if NASDAQ is to go to the upside, okay? So this is what I see. And then if you go back to the H1, you would definitely see exactly the same thing that I'm talking about, which is impulse move correction, impulse move correction. And then if it ends up happening, this would be in a larger version, a double bottom type formation. And then obviously being the first TP, which is your 90% rule. And then that being the overall one. So we would say that by looks of things, NASDAQ we're looking to be more bullish than we'll be looking for sales, okay? So yeah, that's just the way I'm gonna leave it at it from. So as you can see, maybe we might, when we reach that trend line, the market might just be coming back down to test this level nyana for one last time before actually going to the upside. Or maybe when it breaks that one, meaning that you can use a buy stop somewhere there, or just wait for it to come here, and then you can buy either from here or from there, which is at the break of that level. And it's only then that you're gonna know that NASDAQ is gonna go to the upside, because it's not of high importance for me to tell you this is what I see, and also not giving you what you can, or how you can go on about it, because you can know it's not about the pattern, like I always say, or the candlestick. Is about how you understand and how you're gonna trade, what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? What is it that you wanna see before you take action? Because if what you're looking for is not there, then step away. If there is, then you know what I mean. So let's move on now to GBPCAD. Oh, I have analyzed already. All right. But I can start it from like the bottom. I don't mind, just so it can make sense. So let's see what's happening on the daily. So this is what we have on GBPCAD. Okay, we have that daily correction previously that we had. Okay, and then currently we also have that. So we're just catering now for everything that we see. Okay, we're just catering for everything that we do see, and then it's just gonna be clear as we go lower, right? So going to the 4 hours, you would realize that now we don't really need this, so it's not worth keeping it or having it or even looking at it, right? Because it's not gonna help us anyhow currently. So that's something that you should keep in mind. What you're not going to use, erase it for now so that it does not confuse you. Right. So we're just going to fix the prices now and have something like that. Okay. So we have that current high, which is the 4-hour high. And then at the bottom, you can see we have our first touch, second touch, and anticipated third touch there in the future. Okay. So we're just going to go inside now so that we can understand what's going on. Right. So we have that high, which is on the wick of the candle. And then if we adjust this, you can see that we have an anticipated third touch. You could also have something like that currently, right? And then we can also have that trend line correction at the top. You know what I mean? So this is what is going on here. So we're just gonna go now to the 1-hour time frame because the price is gonna be clear there. So now that we see on GBPCAD like what's going on, if we draw the trend line on the wick of that candle, if GBPCAD is going to be a buy, it will be a result of the fact that it's just respecting that minor support or level, or however you want to call it or you understand it. Okay, and then what is it that could be happening here? If GBPCAD is a buy currently, it just might be wanting to go back there before it can actually go down. But it does not mean that when it gets to that resistance, it has to sell. It can break it and then continue going to the upside. But from a structural point of view, we would know that normally when that thing happens, we'll start looking for sells. Okay. So that's what is going on here, or what I'm anticipating. And then if we just go maybe to the, because you could also see that we have this correction here. So we need to be careful here as to what we're going to do, because if this is just a retest, then it might just be going there to give us a head and shoulder, right, which is the right shoulder, before it can actually go down. However, because of the fact that you can see that this was an ascending type of nature structure towards a key level, because I'm sure if you can look left, this was just one of the turning points the market provided us with, right? And so this could either be a retest at that level to give us a head and shoulder, or it might go all the way to give us a double top type formation, right? So we're just gonna confirm with the 1 hour, with the 50-minute time frame, so that we can understand what's going on. So let's drop it to the 50-minute. So as you can see on the 50-minute, the market is currently respecting this level, right? This is just a minor level, guys, not yeah. So we can just adjust the trend line like this and also like that. Okay. So what is going on here? You can see that the market rejected with the hammer and also with the bullish engulfing candle. Okay. So if it's going to the upside, then we'll be looking at something like, because I wouldn't enter now because it's a little bit late for me. And then as you all know, guys, right, my FX book like sends me this these notifications, but I don't really focus too much on news, but it's just for me to know what is it that is happening, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I'm just gonna take this off. So if JPCAD is going to be a buy, we were looking for something like that, right? All the way there. But it's a little bit late now to enter. I wouldn't enter unless it would give a retest maybe here, or if it closes above, then you can look for buys. But that's what's going on here. And also maybe the reason why it's a buy because of the other factor. You see what I mean? It makes a lot of sense now. This is also a correction, which is if this is an impulse, then it's a correction. So maybe a retest here or a closing above could be an indication that JPCAD indeed is going to go to the upside. So that's how you understand the price. Maybe we can now erase this and erase that, because this makes a lot of sense considering the fact that this was the support level, supporting trend line, impulse move, correction. So we have now broken out, which is if that candle close like that, it will be an impulsive breakout. But it just depends whether you would want to wait for a retest, or you would just enter comfortable entering as it looks now, and then may possibly goes all the way to the upside. So that's what we have on GBPCAD. So we're just gonna move now to the next one, which is the third one, which I think it's USDZAR. So on USDZAR, we're just gonna also start on the daily. So as you can see, we have this nice channel, which is the market ended up breaking out, this is USDZAR, guys. So as you can see, we have broken out of the structure, which is this ascending channel. All right, so let's go to the 4 hours now. So going into the 4 hours here, I need you to look at carefully what is it that I'm gonna do. So as you can see here, USDZAR has been moving in impulses and corrections, okay? Which is, this was the first correction, right? Then this was the second one. You know, guys, that the price repeats itself, right? Because technical analysis is based off the fact that the price repeats itself, okay? So the correction is the impulses, which is the impulse and correction is the market nature, is how it moves, right? So it's important for sometimes to understand in which phase are you in. Are you in an impulse or are you in a corrective type of structure? So as you can see, we have broken out. The market has been moving impulses, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction. So currently we have a similar thingy on USDZAR, right? Meaning that if USDZAR is going to be a sell, it will most likely be a repetition of what has been going on, right? It'll just be a repetition of what's going on. But if you look now, it's still playing between that supporting trend line and that resisting trend line. So we're just going to go to the 1 hour so we can see what is it that we could do, right? So as you can see, this is a nice correction now. It's clear, yeah, okay? So how do we go on about it? Okay. So as you can also see here, we have a pattern inside a pattern, which is that was a ascending tapered structure because it was a rejecting off of that level for 3 times. So this is, if now we can take this away, this is a breakout and that's a retest. So this was a breakout retest, so waiting for continuations. But we need to take into consideration the fact that this is also a supporting trend line that we need to respect. Meaning that if USDZAR is going to sell, I would like to see it breaking that level. It is now broken that trend line, right? So a breakout maybe in the retest today would give me the sell. You know what I mean? Like I said, it depends, guys, on how you look at the market and also how do you want to enter it. But somebody else could say, nah, I would like to see it breaking this trend line depending on how they have drawn it. Okay. Otherwise, if none of those happen, USDZAR could still go back there to reject it there for the 5th time, because we just have 1, 2, and 3, 4 for the 5th time before it could actually sell. But it really looks like it might be a sell. But it's more than that, because if you connect, when the market does this, it's just for you to open your eyes and connect the dots, because this is what is going on here, right? That's what's going on here. We're in this descending type of nature structure. So if USDZAR ends up not being a sell but a buy, we would like to see it breaking this 17 rand 0.19186. Then that's how, when we're gonna know that it's gonna go to the upside. But for now, based off what has been happening previously, we would like to see NASDAQ, which is the probability could be that the market is gonna sell. Also considering the fact that we're also not playing inside this structure that we saw on the 4-hour time frame. So let's just go now to the M15 so that you could see there exactly what's going on, right? So let's see what's going on here. So what's going on here? Okay, we have those touches at the top, and then we have that as well. All right. So if this trend line was supposed to trade like this, maybe if that's a level of support, which is support, something like that. So USDZAR could go back, maybe reject there or there. It just depends on what is it that it wanna do, right? But if it ends up breaking, if it ends up breaking, then giving us a retest, that's when you know if we're gonna sell. But we can also take this into consideration, which is this one over here, meaning that we might just go back there, then down. Okay, so that's what is going on USDZAR, guys. So let's move forward now to NZDJPY. So I think here we're also going to start off the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's start on the daily, which is we have that, and we also have this. So it's kind of like in a consolidation, right? So we also see that we have that supporting that corrective movement towards the top. So sooner or later we will get the sales here unless the market breaks above and continue going to the upside. And then if it does that, that means this will be a bullish reverse. This will be a bullish rectangle if the markets end up breaking to the upside. However, if it does not do that and end up going to the downside, then it will just be a consolidation. And we know that when the market consolidates, we buy the support to sell the resistance. So let's go to the 4 hours. So going to the 4-hour time frame, right? You can see that the importance of starting on the higher time frame, guys. So as you can see, we have this first touch, second, and the third touch. So if that's a true rejection here, we might see NZDJPY going to the upside, right? So let's see on the 1 hour as to how that will possibly happen. So as you can see, we rejected here, right? But we need to also highlight the fact that this is just a level that we need to put our eyes on, right? Because then if the market may not necessarily come to test the support level again, if it's gonna buy indeed, it may just be giving us what, I don't know if you can see it with me, but I see a possibility of an inverse head and shoulders here going to the upside. So we can only just go to the 15 minutes so we can see. So as you can see right there, right now it's not a little bit clear as to what is it that they want to do. But sometimes, like I said, the market may not necessarily come to test this 4-hour level or 4-hour level. It may just come here and complete the last leg of the inverse head and shoulder, if it's a true inverse head and shoulder, meaning that this is the region or the price at which you can start looking for buys if the markets end up coming down. But if you're looking the market to buy, which is beyond this level, then look for something of a breakout and the retest towards this level, because it's only then that we're going to know that it's going to buy. But for now, anything can happen at that resistance, meaning that it could reject there, come here and there before actually giving us the buys. But it looks bullish from the higher time frames, right? So NZDJPY, I'm not going to start all over again. But here I'm just going to show you what happened as well. So as you can see on EURNZD, we just have this expansion channel. It's an expansion channel. We have that first touch, second and third touch, first touch, second, third touch. So anticipated third touch somewhere around there in future. So this is just a notification that we have high fundamental news coming up within the next 3 minutes or so, which will concern much the euro. And now we are on EURNZD, so we're just gonna see if EURNZD is gonna be much affected by the news, right? Considering the fact that they have the euro. And then, as you can see, guys, I extended those trend lines because the market is still playing between that supporting trend line and that resisting trend line. So it could either break out, go to the upside, or it will just continue with the sales until it gets there to give us a third touch. Maybe when we get the third touch, it's only then that it's gonna buy, because it will mean that there's an impulse move, correction, then continuation. Okay, going to the 4 hours now, you can literally see what's going on here, right? So I'm just gonna fix it like that so it makes sense. So let's go to the 1 hour time frame. So going to the 1 hour time frame, the market is broken out. And then, guys, if EURNZD ends up being a sell, then it would confirm the buys that we saw on NZDJPY, because when you use correlations, you also need to look across as to what's going on, which is the euro versus other currencies, right? So that you can use all of that information to your advantage, or to understand whether the euro is indeed going to be weak or the New Zealand dollar is indeed going to be strong. So if that's a true breakout, we just might be seeing NZDJPY retesting off of that level and then go down. So you can use now what is called a sell limit at that level if you want to wait for the retest, right? And also, if maybe this is how we could draw the trend line, then maybe a retest would make sense there and then go down, right? So if you did not watch that video that I made about breakouts and retests, so please do check it out here at the top, which is on my top right. And then, yeah, guys, so as you can see now, which phase are we in? This is as an impulse move, so this is a correction. So what is it that we're waiting for next? Retest, and then the continuation of sales to the downside, meaning that we're waiting for the possibility of the next impulse move. So that is it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed and liked this video. The charts were a little bit trickier as I went on about it, but I hope you took something away from here, and also you can use some of the things that I saw here to your advantage and on your MetaTrader 4 as well, guys, because anyone can analyze, but not everyone can trade. There's a big difference between those two things. So which side are you on? Are you an analyst or are you a trader, right? So I'll most definitely see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching up until the end.